Hi, I'm Kerry Lord from TOFT. This video forms part of a series to accompany the Edwards Crochet kits, patterns and books. In this video, I'm going to show you how to sew on your eyes and nose if you're doing a dog. Now, not all patterns will have noses, in fact very few do, but this is how I'm going to show how to add a nose. Bearing in mind, you can always choose to add a nose onto your animal if you think it'd look better with a nose. So I do the eyes always in the same way. My standard animal, only with the exception of dolls, I've never used safety eyes. I've always just used black thread. Now I use our TOFT over-dyed black, which we do especially for doing eyes because it's a strong over-dyed black, so it's really dark. You can also use perhaps say an embroidery thread or a silk thread in black, which will give you the same effect and just give you those high contrast eyes, but in a lovely safe way, which means that they can then be great for under threes. So if you poke your needle through to the top point that you want your eyes. Now if you're new to this, you might find that you want to mark these on first. So you could always put 2 pins in the position that you want them to go in, but remember that you can always cut them off. And when I'm doing a new animal, it will usually take me 3 or 4 goes to get these eyes in the correct position to give me the right character. So don't worry if you feel like you get frustrated that you're having to take them off and on a few times to get them right. So pull that through until it just disappears into the fabric. And then my standard eyes are always 2 rows down. So I'm coming out here, if I count 1 row down, 2 rows down, to there, back up through, 1 wrap. 2 wraps for a standard eye is generally what I use if I'm using the same thickness of yarn as I am that I've crocheted in. Or you can always do 3 wraps if you want to, which I'll go for here to give a slightly bigger, more defined eye. So across to the other side in 1 movement underneath, back in 2 rows up, and do 1, 2, and a third so that they match. Now, as I'm doing a dog, I am going to be putting a nose on the front. So this is Don the Golden Retriever. I'm going to do his nose in 1 go. So I'm actually going to come, having finished that eye, come through the fabric to this point here, which is where his nose is going to start. And then I'm going to create a triangle. So I'm going to sew over here, trying to marry it up with that eye over there. There we go. And up through the middle. There we go. And then back through and back through. So first I'll basically draw a triangle in the shape that I want. So I'm going to push that back through that side. There we go. And then I'll just fill it in. So that's me having drawn the shape of triangle that I'm after, and I'll just fill it in. Now don't feel like you have to be an embroiderer to do this. I'm certainly not an embroiderer. I'm just patient and I take my time to get it right. So I'm going to go back in over here and down across here. Generally, like all things, the longer you take doing it, the nicer the effect will be. So don't rush this bit. It's the last stage that's going to make him really doggy. Don't rush it. Across this side. I'm going to come up here. There we go. Up here. And then across there. So I'm just going to use that last little bit to fill in the last side of my triangle there. There we go, push that through the other side, and then you can snip off all your ends. Now I find that because I'm using a wool, it's sticky, so it's sticking to the surface of my fabric, it's not going to move anywhere. If you were using a wool or a silk to do that, you might find you need to secure it a little bit more on that last stitch into the nose before you drag it through the fabric. But that's my dog complete with his eyes and his nose, and it's the same, exactly the same for all the animals in terms of their eyes. Use the same technique and then just go from there.